Hello, good morning, Year 10. We're now moving on to Unit 4 in our core content. And I'm going to put up a couple of videos for you just to catch up on the actual outcomes of the Second World War, but a brief outline of the Second World War. Germany loses, the Soviet Union and the Allies, Britain and America, had a very sort of on and off relationship during the course of the war, but by the end of the war, they went back to the situation that they were at before they became allies, and that was one of hostility. And this hostility between the capitalist countries, Britain and America, and others that later joined them, and obviously the communist countries, is what we come to call the Cold War. For lots of reasons, and that's what we're going to be learning today. So what I want you to do, just to start off with, of course, write down your title, who was to blame for the outbreak of the Cold War. Very interesting unit of work on this. I'd like you to write down as many key details or information that you can recall about the Cold War. Who was involved, what countries were involved, what was the war, what was the tension about, how did it manifest itself. And then when you've written a couple of things for that, just click on this link, this crash course video. Lots of information there. It's about 5 minutes long, and it goes through the Cold War in its entirety, but in a very fast way. Right. What I want you to do after that then is I'd like you to open up the definitions of the Cold War, read through this, and start highlighting some of the key definitions, key sort of phrases and terms. So maybe when it was. So some say it's between 1945 and 1991. Underline that, highlight it. It was ideological conflict. It included a conventional arms race, and it was fought by proxy. This is a fantastic definition here. You might want to just keep hold of. And then there's another definition here by historian David Williamson. Do the same thing there, and finally a wiki definition. So what you're doing there, read through the definitions, highlight key statements, and then I want you to use all the best parts of those three definitions to come up with your own paragraph to explain what is meant by the Cold War. Okay. And what you need to have in your definition is who the Cold War was between, when it happened, why did it take place, and some of the flashpoints of the Cold War, some of the moments where the Cold War was close to getting hot. And then finally, as we do at the beginning and end of every unit, we need to make sure we understand the chronology inside out. I'd like you to draw up a timeline. I want you to put in these key events. These are all in the early parts of the Cold War between 1945 and 1955, and starting with the dropping of the Yalta Conference. So look through all of them, work out the dates, and then put them on a timeline, and then make sure it's nice and neat, because we'll keep coming back to it over the course of this unit.